We should all be thinking about our financial security in these politically uncertain times. Public Square has recently partnered with Genesis Gold Group to help us all with our financial concerns. Genesis Gold is an America-first precious metals company that helps patriots like you transfer your wealth into self-directed IRAs backed by gold and silver. They believe that an informed investor is the best investor. Unlike many precious metal groups, they actually want their customers to be fully aware of all options, not just the ones that benefit the seller. They work with investors who are already savvy, and they love helping those new to precious metals become informed and in control of their financial future. Genesis Gold Group is the exclusive precious metals provider offered on Public Square. They have so many helpful tools, but there is something new and exciting for us to discuss. It's called the Prepper Bar. The silver Prepper Bar is wealth in your wallet. It's crafted from 0.999 pure silver and proudly made in the USA. This tangible, divisible asset can come in handy in the toughest of times. Now, I admit I am not the most financially literate unless it comes to shopping sales. Pretty good at that. So we need to sit down and chat with Jonathan Rose of Genesis Gold Group. Jonathan, I'm going to need you to start at the beginning.
Well, pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, absolutely. So people often ask me, where did my career start in precious metals? I've been doing this for over 30 years. So you can tell from my accent, not originally from Kansas, but originally from London, England. And I started my career on what's called the London Metal Exchange. And the London Metal Exchange, imagine the New York Stock Exchange with people with blazers and they're screaming and yelling at each other and trading futures contracts. So I was very fortunate enough as a child, well, a young adult, I should say, to work for companies like Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley. That's why I started learning about my financial career in different types of metals. Next to the base metals market was what was called the precious metals market. So I started my career in aluminum, copper, tin, zinc. This was called the base metals. And next door to me was the precious metals market. And I always had a fascination with precious metals. And this, I think, stemmed from my childhood. My grandfather used to give me gold coins. And those gold coins I still have today. I've given them to my children, and they're worth a lot more today than they were worth back then. Now, I always remember asking some of the traders in London, what's the best way to own gold and silver? And they'd always tell me, if you're going to invest in a commodity such as gold and silver, the safest way to do it is to physically hold on to it yourself. Mm-hmm. So you could invest, for say, in gold mining stocks, you could invest in gold ETFs, electronically traded funds, or you can invest in the physical asset that you hold on to. So that always resonated with me since I was always given gold coins as presents over the years. Fast forward when I came to America in 1997, I did get involved on the commodities side, physical commodities, and then I started consulting for big banks such as HSBC and AIG. And I went to Southeast Asia, and I was actually educating financial advisors on really how to offer precious metals, because in the early 2000s, financial advisors would actually sell people, and the general public in Asia would buy gold jewelry, chains, bracelets, and by doing so, they were paying a premium. And they're really paying for the craftsmanship of a necklace or a chain, and that's not quite the same as investing in 24 karat gold. So they wanted a Westerner's perspective and to train their financial advisors on how to offer gold in Southeast Asia. So my love of gold kind of continued to grow, and I became very well known in the precious metals and the commodities market, and that's kind of where I really made a stamp for ourselves. And Genesis Gold Group is who we're now here to discuss. We help people with IRAs, 401ks, rollovers. We're an American first and also a faith-based company. We actually have a full-time pastor on staff as well that speaks to our clients. And a lot of people have questions, especially in this economy. We've got a trade deficit that's out of control. We've got instability in the Middle East. People are concerned about central bank digital currencies. So people are calling in. They have these IRAs, retirement plans, and they want to know, how can I protect it? So ideally, what we do is educate people on how they can roll over their IRAs, keeping it tax-free and penalty-free, and storing precious metals in there. But then as the time has come, people start asking us, well, how do I spend this?
Yes, I have so many questions about that.
How can I use it? So
we've read you have a bunch of stuff for us.
Yeah.
So tell me everything that we have here. You have something down in front.
Yeah, I'm going to do a far reach here.
We do that all the time.
Okay, so this is a kilo. It's kind of heavy.
So it is heavy.
So this is what we call a kilo of gold.
It says Suisse 1 kilo fine gold, 999.9.
Yeah. And this is heavy, folks. So you can hold on to this, keep it at home, or put it into an IRA. But over the years, our clients would say, Jonathan, I have this block of gold or block of silver. How can I spend this? It's not like I have a hacksaw in my back pocket.
Right.
I can shave off pieces, because people want to, if there's a crisis and people, need to spend cash, or, cash becomes, obsolete because they're trying to go into a digital dollar, people want a commodity that they can use. And we really listen to our clients. And this is where we invented and came out with a real niche in the market. It's very innovative. This is called the Prepper Bar.
So this is the Prepper Bar.
This is the Prepper Bar.
And we have one here too. So it comes in gold and silver.
Yeah. And what makes this so unique, it's the only bar of its type made in America that is divisible into 3 pieces. So I'm not sure if the camera picks this up, but the top...
Look at, you have all these cameras here.
Yeah, okay, the top row here, these are 1/10 of an ounce pieces. The middle row is 1/4 of an ounce. And the bottom row is a 1/10 of an ounce, 1/4 ounce, 1/20 of an ounce. So imagine a Hershey's chocolate bar. If you wanted to, you could break this. I'm not going to break this one.
Yeah, let's not do that.
This is the gold one today. But I call it, wealth in your wallet, because I keep it in my wallet with my credit cards and my cash. And if I was ever in a pinch, didn't have cash, or your credit cards aren't working, you can pull this out and you can use it or not, because it's gold, it retains its value. And if you look at the gold and silver prices, just over the past 5 years, they've increased over 72%.
So that's a big increase, right?
It's a very big increase. So when people are looking at financial markets and they're looking at what's about to happen next, I say we don't have a crystal ball, but we have a pretty good roadmap. And we know what that roadmap looks like.
Right.
And when you've got top economists telling you that the market's topping out, there's going to be a correction, and people have IRAs and 401ks, and they're concerned about, debt, because debt does matter. And I will say the dollar's dominance is coming to an end. And if you have all of your eggs in one basket in the financial markets, you have to diversify. So whether you're diversifying with coins or bars or even prepper bars, definitely now's the time to be proactive and not reactive.
Right. So there's a very beautiful lady sitting next to you, and I don't want to ignore her. This is your gorgeous, stunning wife, Tiffany.
Beautiful wife.
So
Great to be here.
I'm so happy you're here as well. So I think it's a stereotype, but it's often true that women have a harder time understanding finance. We're not as inclined to understand these markets and things like this. And how are you as his wife? Have you learned a lot, or have you always been interested in the financial market?
I'm still learning. I learn every day from Jonathan. I mean, he's so well sourced in everything finance. We've been together close to 20 years, but I do actually think that's right. I think, sometimes as a woman and a wife, and, being at home with my children, and we do kind of take a back seat, but I think it's very important for us as women to be educated as much as we can in finance and in gold and in everything that's kind of truly American, which is, I rely on this one for
See,
it.
she's being very modest, because she knows a lot about the markets, because she'll come home from a shopping trip and tell me how expensive
Right.
Groceries have become. I'm like, that's inflation for you. Our
Yes.
dollar's purchasing less and less. And people's paychecks aren't going up. We're hearing people are having to stay at work longer or take out second jobs. And this is the nation that, these baby boomers are retiring, and they're struggling right now. And we all see what's happening in the world today. And that's why it makes sense to be a good steward of your money,
Right.
and understand that, there are options and things that you can do. So I think that's important to get that education, and I think Tiffany does definitely provide that as well.
There's definitely a lot of my mum friends, the children's mums at school, that come up to me and say, "Hey, your husband sells gold, right? Like, is it jewelry? Like, what is that?" And I explain it as best as I can, and they've actually become customers of Jonathan as well, which I would only feel comfortable doing that if I knew I was putting them into good hands. But it's definitely a learning curve, and I'm learning more and more that gold is a great investment when there's so much inflation right now, especially in America. I also moved here from the UK when I was, 21, 22, and I didn't have any credit. I didn't have, any bank accounts to show. Like, I had to pay for my whole apartment for a year up front. But I could do that because I was coming off the British pound. And back then, the British pound was so strong against the American dollar. And now it's, I'd say, just about even.
Yeah.
Normally, we would go home to London and we would be like, wow, the food's extortionate here. But I really think in America, everything is on the rise, and gold is such a great investment for your dollar.
And I think that that is so true. But so let's say there's at home basic investors who are just learning. What is the first step that they can do with you? How do they get involved? Because sometimes you get so overwhelmed. And when you're talking
Yes.
numbers, I hate to say, my brain goes haywire.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people are busy. They're not focused on the financial markets. I take it for granted that I've worked for some of the biggest banks and brokerage companies out there. So if you're starting off in precious metals, the first recommendation is get an education and obviously work with someone you can trust. Now, Genesis Gold Group is full of people with decades of experience and are here to educate people how this works.
So we can go on Public Square, click to Genesis Gold,
Yeah.
and then you can connect us with some of your trained professionals that can get us started.
Absolutely. If they're looking for more information on protecting an IRA, if they're looking for information about buying prepper bars, taking physical possession of metals at home, we're able to help them, and they're able to do that all through Public Square now.
So basically, you're a one-stop shop to get yourself situated financially.
Absolutely.
I think that boils it down
Yeah.
really, really well. And so you still stay in the stock market, but also diversify with something very heavy like this and something amazing and easy to carry around like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the prepper bar because then you're prepared.
Well put.
Okay, now I think I'm understanding this.
Yeah.
So anything else you need to tell us at home, just what we need to know, what should we be focusing on? Just call up your people and they'll figure it out for us?
I would say we have a definitive gold guide, and that's a good place to get the information. So when they come to Public Square and go to Genesis Gold Group, they can get the definitive gold guide. It's absolutely free. It will show you which coins and bars will really, I believe, be a better hold for the future and really give you the education on how to protect that IRA and 401k, learn how to take physical possessions at home, and also see beautiful pictures of these types of products that we're holding today.
Way better than a Hershey bar, less calories, more return on your investment.
Yes, I like that.
Great. Well, I appreciate you being here, but I have to ask Tiffany one more thing. So, Tiffany, you're not just sitting here, sitting back, taking care of the kids,
Yeah.
helping with the gold. You have a podcast.
We do.
Oh, you're
Yes.
both on it together.
We
We're
are.
on it together. He roped me into doing it, but no, I actually very much enjoy working with Jonathan on the podcast. It's really fun and it's very informative as well.
So, what is it called? What's it about? What issues are you tackling?
It's called Wake Up America, and we're basically a politically charged, finance-based show, and we talk about the current climate of America, education, children's education,
Family values.
family values. We don't hold back. I'd say I was maybe holding back at first because sometimes it can be scary to talk about your, political preference. But I think as a nation, we really have to be strong and open up. And I think more and more people are opening up to the fact that they're voting conservative or they support Trump and they lie more with his morals and values. And I think that's our show, really. Summed up, we have a lot of fun as well, though. So
And if women want to get more into the finance, they can listen to you just to start dipping their toe in the water.
Absolutely.
It's almost like with politics. People, once they dip, you're scared to dip your toe in.
Yes.
And then once you dip in, you're like cannonballing, diving,
Yeah.
going off the high dive. Now you're all in. And that's how I
Definitely.
think all of us ladies should be with the financial stuff
They
too.
tune in
Yes.
to see Tiffany, not me.
it's not.
Well, you're just added eye candy. So where can we listen? Where can we watch? What's the story?
So they could go to Rumble or Frank Speech and Wake Up America with Jonathan and Tiffany Rose. And we're streamed on quite a few platforms, but Frank Speech is definitely where you'll find us as a full-time and our show that airs weekly.
Well, I'm so happy that you're part of the Public Square family. I'm going to be personally calling you for my help. And I need Tiffany's number because I feel like she's going to be a good one
Yes.
to give me all the little secrets
Yes.
of the markets and of
Yes.
gold.
She's brilliant.
And I'm so glad you guys are here. And I know we're going to
you.
be seeing more of you and hearing more from you. And thank you for being part of the Public Square family.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you
for having
so
us
much.
today. It's been
Thank
a lot
you.
of fun. Thank you.
You can learn more about Genesis Gold, including the Prepper Bar and this big guy, through Public Square. So just head over to our app or website for more information.